Welcome to the Orlando Lions Den podcast, your number one Orlando City podcast. For the fans, by the fans. For the fans, by the fans. Keeping you in the know on all things Orlando City since 2018.
Hello. Another edition, episode 20 of the year, Orlando Lions Den podcast. It's your boy Alex Brown. I'm here. We got four of us here tonight. It's a full show.
A rare occurrence.
A rare occurrence. Yeah, we're with the boys. Mike, how you feeling? Feeling all right? We got a win this week at home.
We got a win, which means actually for the pod, I decided to actually put on some Orlando City attire this time. I haven't done that in a hot minute. I've just been rocking blank T-shirts or work stuff. I felt good. A 4-point week. Obviously, the draw is a little disappointing, but maybe there's some hope in that win. So, ready to get into it.
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's a big maybe.
Maybe.
JJ, you're partying in the wall?
I was partying in the wall, man. Upon further review, Orlando City won the game. Hold on.
However,
it was only one game. That's it.
Hold your horses.
Shout out to that rep in St. Louis. That was hilarious.
The ultimate troll job. Ryder, what's up, my man?
I'm feeling a little better than I did last week. I was definitely down on the team last week, and this week it's just nice to talk about a win. We haven't been able to do that in 5-6 weeks? It's been a minute.
I don't even count anymore. It's just depressing.
I mean, it's been 1 month since we won a game, and it's been 3 months since we won at home. I mentioned that on Den After Dark, so.
Good grief. March 23rd.
Yeah. Tough.
Excited to talk about it, though. I think maybe we're getting hot. I don't know.
Just think. Just think. March 23rd, March Madness was going on. I don't even think March Madness was going on. A lot of the TV series were still going on, before the season ended for their shows. Wow, that's a long time. Okay. Well.
It's been 84 years.
It was a long time. We'll talk about the Charlotte match and on Wednesday night, and then obviously talk about the Chicago dub at home. And then we'll preview some Friday night soccer on a baseball field. So we'll talk about it all. Thank you guys for joining us here on Orlando Lions Den. Let's get into our sponsors quickly. Some updates. So hopefully I don't butcher this. Let's start with an easy one. Our man Eddie, who's not on tonight, at Comparion Insurance Agency. We got a whole trifecta here, so we're going to try and bring it all in together. But Eddie can get you auto, life, and home insurance. He shops around all different companies and can make sure that you are getting the best price, especially on your house insurance. It's going crazy here in the area. You got to have it. I heard somebody on the radio saying they just paid off their house and the husband doesn't want to continue with it. And I was just thinking to myself, that's a great way to have a house fire, is to let your insurance lapse.
Can't do that in Florida whatsoever. That's just the worst idea.
Especially at the start of hurricane season.
How expensive it is, you got to have it.
So I got to give credit to Eddie. So my renewal came in today. I'm thinking that it's going to be a couple $1,000s, Liberty Mutual, that's who I have. Eddie hooked me up. Let me tell you, I only raised, I think it was like $200. So I'm still under the $3,000 and under the $2,500 mark for the year. So Eddie's doing a good job.
Yeah, cool thing about Eddie too is a lot of times he can even get you the same price, or it may be like $100 or $200 more, but your hurricane deductible is going to go from that 5 or 10% with your current company, and he likes to make sure that you're not only getting a good price but also good coverages, so you're not going to be stuck with a $10 or $15 or $20,000 deductible. I know he's done that for a lot of our listeners, so give him a call, shoot him a message. You got the QR code on the screen for that house insurance. Speaking of houses, we have a new sponsor this week. It's McGibbon Realty. It is run by Chad McGibbon. You might know him on Twitter as @CabanaSuite. He does some realtor services. If you're buying a house, he can be your buying agent, your seller's agent if you're selling one. And he's a new sponsor for us. He got a QR code on the screen. Longtime Orlando City fan, and we just wanted to get him on the show to talk about his services because we kind of got a theme here going. So if you are buying a house, don't only hit up Chad, but also hit up Leo. Chad can handle the agent side of things. Leo can handle the mortgage side of things. And you can get a one-stop shop going here through the Orlando Lions Den podcast and our boys that we are that represent us and that we represent them. So at Epic Mortgage Team for Leo, powered by You Mortgage, 407-844-7696. Applywithleo.com. And of course, you can shoot us a message or shoot him a message on any of these social medias. Let's see, Fubo TV. If you haven't signed up yet, if you're trying to watch all the soccer that is on right now, Fubo is a great place to watch it. I know some of the Euro matches are only available on Fubo. Copa America, I believe, is on there as well. Use our QR code if you're signing up, even for a month or two. Use our QR code right here on the screen, and that we dropped in the link to the replies on the post. We would greatly appreciate it. And Hourglass Brewing, of course, the No Mango No Party is still available to be purchased and drank at the Hourglass on both locations on Curry Ford and in Longwood. So hit up Hourglass, get some No Mango No Party, awesome mango wheat beer, and I've cleared my packs. It's about time for me to go and get some more. So
Gotta go re-up.
check that out. Another little special announcement we have is our Den After Dark replay. Mike, appreciate you for getting it on the podcast feed. That's been a popular thing that has been by demand to get it not only just available on the Twitter Spaces. So we'll be uploading it to the podcast feed as a NSFW, not safe for work, especially when Mike is hosting. You do not want to be blaring it while you are sitting on break from your work computer. Or maybe in the car on the morning commute with the kids. You might want to wait till you drop them off. But that'll be on our podcast feed starting. We just put this last one up, so we're going to try and get it on every single week so you guys can have it to listen to with all your media and channels that we use on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all that good stuff. So it'll be on the feed by popular demand. We appreciate y'all's feedback, and we have placed it on there. I think I got everything. Check the show notes. All right, I tried. That's about all I'm going to bring tonight. So you guys are going to carry the rest. If y'all are okay with that. Let's talk about the Charlotte Review midweek draw with Charlotte 2-2 draw. Orlando City, of course, plays up a man for 60 minutes or so, just like to round around the numbers there, especially with the added time and things like that. But twice had to come from behind. We give up the early goal in the 11th minute to them. And then Duncan in the second half. I mean, they get the red card in the 38th minute, it says here. So, really it didn't feel great before that red card had occurred. It felt like, I said it on Twitter, it felt like a funeral for Oscar Pereira's time at Orlando City. It felt like that was really going to be it. It felt like we were going to get run off the pitch. But then Alan Chapman does us a favor. A clear red card. I mean, you can't go studs up from behind into an Achilles. So that was a great call. And we get up and go up a man. And I said it on Den After Dark, and I said it in the chat. I said, considering it made Felipe get subbed off, it was really like losing two men for Charlotte. So we had to put Cesar in, had to get Felipe off, and they had a man sent off. So after that, you got Duncan McGuire with a beautiful one-touch goal from the assist from Facu. Coming over the top from Muriel was a great little run-on play up through the middle to the left side, and then Duncan just does what Duncan does. They get a fairly simple counter-attacking goal to go up 2-1, and then Facu, shows up and puts it in off the corner, nice settle, and just drills it right where it needs to be. 2-2 draw at Charlotte. Felt like we should have got more, could have got more, and it really, we said on Den After Dark, it really didn't feel great. Felt like a mild loss to walk out of there with a draw. Could have easily, especially with how we've been on the road, could have easily had 2 extra points. And considering we kind of knew we were playing the weakest team in the conference in Chicago at home on Saturday. We really would have liked to see us get a dub in Charlotte, so that way we could have had back-to-back dubs. But let's talk about it. Anybody feel like it was a positive? Anybody want to start with a positive? Silence.
I mean, if there's a positive you can have out of this game is that, Facundo Torres scored from the run of play and got an assist, but obviously being down to 10, having Charlotte down to 10 men and still conceding a goal to them in the run of play and then having to come back again to get a draw, less than desirable. To say the least, especially if you have up for almost an hour up a man, you got to expect better. Like finishing still was just a little rough in this one. And definitely left a lot to be desired. So,
yeah, I wasn't satisfied or even happy with the result. It just felt like a kick in the you-know-what, because a team like last year's Orlando City team, especially 19 games through the season, would have easily won that match, in my opinion. JJ, you're looking at me with long eyes.
Yeah, I'm basically, Facundo got the goal, got the assist, which is good. But with us being up a man, I mean, with all that time, and you're still letting Charlotte score a goal. I mean, close to end of regulation where they 2-1 are up, and then we have to come back. I mean, I don't understand. I didn't understand the tactics in that game. I didn't understand the starting lineup, to be honest with you. You had Felipe starting. Why? I don't know. Might as well have just kept Cesar in the starting lineup. But luckily we had 10 guys. If not, I mean, luckily we had 11 guys. But if not, if that red card didn't happen, I'm with you, Alex. That could have been his funeral, Papi's funeral. I mean, I don't think Charlotte would have lost that game. And if they probably would have beaten us pretty badly. So, yeah, I wasn't very happy with that game. We did come out with the point, but it should have been a win. Should have been a win with the guy up, and there's no reason for us to go 60 minutes and just score really one goal, and then in the last 5 minutes try to get that second goal so we could tie the game. They shouldn't even have scored. So, but yeah, I don't know. I wasn't very happy with that game on Wednesday night.
Yeah. Ryder, how are you feeling about Wednesday night? I mean, midweek game on the road, usually on paper you're like, a draw is not bad, especially against Charlotte. They've been playing their tails off. But how are you feeling about the old draw, similar to how we're all going about it?
Yeah, it's funny to think about, because if I were to see this result, I predicted 1-1 last week, and I didn't think that we had any chance of winning this match, but I thought we could at least get a midweek draw, and we came out aggressive, at least when it came to the attacking of it. The defense still left a lot to be desired. Mason hadn't quite settled in, and they put a lot of pressure on him. But like you guys, I'll just echo what you guys said and add a little more. So being up a man for that amount of time and not getting 3 points, it hurts. If I were to look at this result, if it was 11v11 for all 90 minutes, I would have been happy. But because we were up a man and had moments where we were looking like we could win, and we just let it squander, it's still a disappointing result. The only two positives are, like Mike said, Facundo getting a run of play goal, but also just Orlando City getting more than one goal in a match. We haven't done that since May 11th. That was 7 matches against, when we scored, I believe, 3 against Philly. It's been a minute since we've been able to stack more than one goal. So at least we did that. I don't know. It's a midweek match. It's an odd time because we're playing a lot of those coming up. This is, I believe, our last big break from those this week before we play a lot leading up to Leagues Cup. But it's still a disappointing result. It's progress because it's against a team that's pretty high up in the rankings compared to the likes of Chicago, but it's still a disappointing result. Could have gotten 3 points, and we really need those if we want to have any chance of sneaking into a play-in spot or wild card spot or whatever they call it this year.
Yeah, we only get one more Wednesday off until the Leagues Cup, pretty much. So that's about it. But all right, I mean, overall, I think everybody shared the same reaction. It was disappointing. I don't think that's just only us four here. I think even with the way the team's performed, when you go up a man for 60 minutes, and it's a tie game, you get a goal, you expect to win. That goal that we gave up, that second goal, was just too easy. And those are the goals that we necessarily weren't allowing last year, and that's been the difference all season. So, but the more interesting game to talk about, I think, is definitely the Chicago match. 4-2. We beat Chicago at home. Facundo just had an awesome match. Muriel gets the penalty. So it was a good match overall. We're up 3-0, I think, right at halftime. I barely watched any highlights on this. I was at a baby shower. It was one of the few games I've ever missed. But Angulo gets a tap in, and I heard Rodrigo had some mistakes. So, but 4-2 against Chicago. Just probably, other than San Jose, the worst team in the league. They have been horrible. They did spend some money this offseason, and it still hasn't translated to much for Chicago. So I'm just going to share my opinion first on the top of things, because I didn't really see much of the match, but I can tell you this: 4-2 against the worst team in the league. We needed 2 bangers from Facu. We had a penalty. And then Angulo just capitalized on a gimme right in front of the net. We still lost, and I hate expected goals, but we still lost the expected goal battle. It's must win at home versus the worst team in the league. I'm not buying anything. In fact, I'm not even at the checkout line yet. I'm still shopping. It's like I can't say this result really moves the needle for me at all whatsoever from how I was feeling before, because this is a result that is just to me an automatic result. It's one of those that you look on the schedule earlier in the season and you're like, that's a dub, no matter how bad the team is. That's a dub. I was more impressed by San Jose away, even though they're a worse team than this match. So I'll leave it at that. JJ, you're shaking your head. You were in the wall. I know you were enjoying it. I'm sure it was a fun match to be in the wall. But
it was a great match to be in the wall.
Are you buying anything?
No, I don't buy it. I'm not buying any of this. This is like Alex Ryder just said. We scored a total of 6 goals in 2 games, right? Which is great. 6 goals, 2 games. But we've also given up 4 goals. And possibly even more if it wasn't for Mason with his great saves. I mean, he had that, like the Orlando City Twitter said, the Statue of Liberty with that header from Chicago's player. That was going over his head, but he stretched out long enough to put his hand up there and get that save. There was other opportunities that Chicago had. This was a very easy game that Chicago could have easily tied it. Very easy. It could have actually won the game. If you look at the stats, I mean, they outshot us even on target. So, I mean, I'm definitely not buying this yet. For people to go on Twitter and already bash me, saying after one game, JJ's the one that needs to go out. It's kind of ridiculous. Do this 5 straight games out of the next 10, give me 6 of them wins. Okay, and I'll give you 4 losses, and I'll start being happy. But no, yes, they won. I'm happy they won. We got the 3 points, which is great. But looking at it, I wasn't very impressed with the way that we played. And then, looking at right at before halftime, seeing two of my players from Orlando City going at it. I mean, I honestly thought they were going to start throwing punches at each other. I don't know what the heck Rodrigo Schlegel and Lodero were arguing about, because from the play that I saw, it was just a cross in, and then they started arguing with each other. I mean, they were throwing hands up. I think Cesar Araujo had to come in between them and everything. Honestly, this team is falling apart, man. And there's no discipline. I don't know what's going on. I've said it plenty of times, and it has to start in that locker room. You can't bring that on the field where, you know, 10,000 people are watching, because it was a freaking empty stadium, to be honest with you. The upper bowl was almost all empty on the south side, and the wall. I mean, I was at the wall. The whole upper corner of each wall was empty also, and then the West Club didn't have that many people. The west side, and then the east side was kind of black. So if you put everybody in the upper bowl down in the lower bowl where the empty seats were, it would have been a packed lower bowl. But yeah, it just, no, I'm not buying it until, like I said, after 10 games, you give me 6 wins and I'll give you 4 losses, then I'll buy it. But until then, it ain't happening. I'm like you, Alex. I'm shopping around still.
Yeah, and it's not to say that it can't be done, right? Because I mean, the schedule isn't miserable. Even after this New York match, I mean, the New York match on the road, and then Toronto, and then DC at home, New England, Nashville. I mean, it's sandwiched between the 2 New York City matches. The schedule definitely gets a heck of a lot easier. I mean, you got Sporting Kansas City after the Leagues Cup, and then this Nashville, New England, Charlotte at home. I mean, the schedule is getting super easy. So that 10-game stretch you're talking about, JJ, might be starting right now, but these are matches that are required, and honestly, the Charlotte match was required too. So I'm happy. I'm happy that we did what we had to do. But I mean, how many wins do we have this year? We've beaten San Jose. We've beaten Chicago, DC, Philly. Yeah, I mean, 4 of our 5 wins are against teams that are below us on the table.
And to piggyback right off of that, there is optimism in that we did get a draw against a team like Charlotte that is above us, but we also need to look at the scoring, because two multi-goal games in a row, I know it's a little thing to celebrate, but we at least got these goals. We've scored 6 goals in the last 2 matches, but that's also the equivalent of the previous 7 before that, of how many goals we've scored. So we're definitely tuning up that, but this is also against worse sides than we were expecting.
But you're also giving up, 4 goals in 2 games, where, if the defense was a little bit more clutched. So I understand where you're coming from, where the offense is finally showing up. Now let's get the defense to tighten up and not give up those 2 straight goals. Like Charlotte was 2 goals. This one was 2 goals. So if you tighten up the defense and the offense is there, then hey, we're going to be looking good. But you can't be giving up, 2 goals out of each game, because we had difficulty scoring. We've been having difficulty scoring. And luckily these last 2 games, remember, out of those 4, one was a tap in by Angulo, who was at the right place at the right time, and the other one was Muriel's PK. Yes, that's part of soccer, but those are 2 easy goals. Facundo, another one, had a great game. I think had a great game. I think Poppy finally used him where he needed to use him, on the right side, where he could come in and shoot with his left foot, where it was a banger, that first goal, and then him and Dagger Dan working together, for his second goal. So I agree with you, Alex, but I think also the defense needs to put up. If the offense starts working and the defense starts getting better, then I'll agree with you 100%. Yeah, goals are coming. Now let's stop. Let's not have 2-3 goals a game for the other team.
Yeah, and it's funny you bring that up, because not only are we happy to have these goals, but also giving up goals where we shouldn't be. We're getting them against teams that are lower than us. Those 7 matches where we got 6 goals, 2 of them were wins and 1 was a draw over teams that were below us in the table. And it was 1 draw and 3 losses to teams above us in the table. Now, our next 6 matches leading into Leagues Cup, 4 of them are against better teams, 2 of them are lower than us in the table. And this is I think this was a brief discussion either on Den After Dark or a previous show, that we have to do this against good teams. We can't just do this against the automatic wins that we should be expecting. We have to beat good teams to reflect that, oh, we are actually back and we're not just winning the games we're supposed to be winning.
The only thing I'm going to add to that is it's not terribly hard to be ahead of us on the table right now. So,
well, that's true.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, remember we beat Austin and they were just in the mud, but they've turned it around quite well. So yeah, it's we don't have a single impressive win. I guess is what I'm trying to get at.
No
all season.
Yep.
So
exactly.
not one.
Yeah.
I mean, the most impressive win is the road match against literally the worst team in the league, and it's not really fairly close.
Just fired their coach.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then I'll go ahead and segue for me to go ahead and talk a little bit about my thoughts, because realistically, it's the same as everybody else's. We were going to try and discuss a little bit of if we feel like this is building momentum, but I think it's too early to say that right now. You know, I think that right now I'm really happy with seeing a good performance from Facu. I'm good seeing like Mason, like JJ said, Mason stood on his head. He had a really, really good game, but it also kind of highlights that the defense was under siege for the majority of this game against Chicago. If we're playing a team that is better at finishing, that game's going to be a 4-5 shootout, you know, potentially. So the fact that Chicago struggles with finishing and Mason made a lot of good saves, enough to get himself in Team of the Week this week, that kind of really highlights how good of a game he played. With that being said, you know, I might have a little bit more optimism than the others, just kind of looking at the road ahead right now. Yes, we have Toronto. Yes, we have New York City FC coming up, but both of them are also on 3-game losing streaks. So like we're catching them while they're down. I'm hopeful that maybe we could go ahead and turn that into something. And if we're playing on the road right now, usually the road ends up being better to us. So I'm starting to feel a sense of optimism, but obviously, you know, I'm a realist. I keep it real with you guys all the time. I still think that there's work to be done, and I'm still shopping as well. I'm not sold that this team has turned the corner yet, but I'm not going to lie. It was great on Den After Dark to get to enjoy a win with everybody and talk positively for an hour and it not be as doom and gloomy as it's been. But this is something that we need to be able to replicate, keep going, move forward with, and it needs to, we just need more of it. We just need more.
Yeah, I'm sold on our schedule getting a heck of a lot easier. That we can all agree on, I think. So, you know, it's now's the time to get hot. Now's the time to be the team that we thought we could be, because, you know, we're in Atlanta late goal away from literally being in a play-in spot right now. That's how bad we've been, and we're 1 point out. So there's points to be had, more than they have been, especially for a team playing the way we are over the course of the next 2 or 3 months. I don't think Oscar's going anywhere. With that being said, you know, especially with the schedule that it is, no matter how much we'd like to see a change, I think, you know, they're just going to look at the schedule and say, if we do what we're supposed to do, even with how we've been playing, we'll be in a playoff spot no matter what. So, are we pumping the brakes? I mean, I'm not pumping the brakes because I never hit the accelerator. That's how I'm feeling.
My thing is I'm getting ready to do. I'm doing like a California stop. You know, like I got to the stop sign. I'm easing off the brake a little bit to see if I'm ready to roll through it, but I'm still looking both ways. I don't know if we're actually, I'm ready to maybe roll through the light a little bit, but am I going to get hit for doing it? I got to look both ways before I decide if I'm going to slam down on the brakes again.
Yeah. I've been stopped for a while. I fell asleep at the light. JJ?
Me? I've pumped the brakes. I've put those brakes almost 100 feet back from the stoplight.
I was going to say, you're the one guy that's got the parking brake on.
I got the parking brake. I got everything. Mike's right now with the California stop. He's trying to see if a cop's on the right side or the left side. And if he doesn't see it, he's going to continue rolling. If he does see it, then he's going to pump that brake and stop.
You got, yeah, that's the thing. You got the parking brake on. You got the boot on the wheel.
I got everything.
The bar on the
yes.
on the steering wheel.
I'm with the crowbar, whatever it is, the locket or whatever on the steering wheel. Yeah. I mean, listen, we're not going to see Poppy get fired at all this year. Okay. It might happen at the end of the year and it might not. And when I say it might not, because I'm starting to sound like Eddie, the Wolves, we've seen Dennis Green, we've seen Mike Tice, we've seen, all these great coaches that have gone through Minnesota and stayed there, even though they've had losing seasons for like 6 straight years. And they still stay there. The Wolves are happy they make the playoffs, it's just a play-in game. And if we lose, hey, we made the playoffs. At least they're not like Jim Mora, who says playoffs. What's playoffs? But then again, 9 teams make the playoffs, basically, with the play-in included in the MLS in the Eastern Conference. So until you keep drinking the Kool-Aid and you keep agreeing that you're making the playoffs, but you don't succeed, then you're going to have this fan base and you're going to have the Wolves just continue, doing what they're doing, and Poppy will stay in until his contract ends. Or maybe they'll sign him another, 2-3 year contract after that, because he made the playoffs every year as a play-in and then loses. So that's the problem with not having relegation, but that's for a different day and different time. We'll talk about that, because if there was relegation right now, Poppy would have been gone a long time ago. He wouldn't have even played these last 4 or 5 games. But yeah, on the brakes, I did about 200, 300 feet back behind the light. I'm stopped. People are honking at me.
Ryder, are you cautiously optimistic, or are you just you're in the JJ and me camp?
I'm driving the speed limit. I'm looking at ways to see if there's officers ahead. I've got my radar going. I'm not going to go speeding off and thinking this is going to be good, and I'm not slamming on my brakes. I'm just, let's keep going, because last week I was pretty down. I thought this was kind of it, and I thought it was going to be curtains for Oscar, but he's earned his right to at least take us to Leagues Cup. And I agree with JJ, unless the next 6 matches are an absolute cataclysm of failure, I think he leads us all the way through the season, and then it's an off-season decision. We just have to build off of these little wins and actually do something with it, which is not something we've done this season. We've won matches that we didn't have business winning maybe one time. And that was only because San Jose was such a short turnaround from a midweek match, and it was so much travel. Austin was because they were playing poor form at the time. Everything else, it was an as expected, or we failed. The Toronto match at home, losing late, definitely comes to mind. But I'm not getting my hopes up. I'm not getting my hopes down. At this point, I'm back to status quo, unless Oscar doesn't get a win in the next 6. He's around for the rest of the season, and we just got to hope we can. And I don't even want to play in spot, because guess what? The play in, the prize for the winner is, I believe, second place, right?
Yeah, first
no,
and second place.
yeah.
So the winner gets to play FC Cincinnati if things hold right now. That's
or Miami,
Yeah.
depending. I mean, let me ask you guys a quick question, all three of you. So we do make a play-in game, and we lose in that play-in game. I'm not saying even we're winning. We lose. Does Oscar stay?
I don't think so.
no. I don't think so either.
Can I just add that making a play-in game is not making the playoffs?
Is Cleon here?
I'm just saying.
Oh well, I mean,
You lose
that's
in the play-in game, you didn't make the playoffs.
Nope.
Well, it's not. It's like the NBA, the play-in game. No, they don't even. You try to make that playoff into the playoff area.
Yeah, I mean, here's my thought process on it. Like, just I'm gonna use Poppy's own quotes against him, because in the beginning of the season, and I'm paraphrasing this, so forgive me for not saying it verbatim. He said something along the lines of, I'm going to be with this club for as long as I feel like I need to be, kind of thing. And he's like, if I feel that I cannot improve this team anymore, I will know that it's time to go. So I think it's going to realistically, if they get to the play-in and lose or don't make the playoffs at all, I think it's highly likely that if he's not fired, it's going to be he steps down. So I can see that happening 100%. And also, since we were saying, I'm just going to backtrack for 1 second, JJ. Since you did mention that someone said JJ out, I just want to go ahead and say thank you for listening. We appreciate that. If you want to go ahead and take your opinion and put it out there, I appreciate you listening, man. Have a good one.
Come on, Den After Dark. You'll be able to actually be on the feed too. Going to argue with JJ directly on the feed.
Yeah, totally, most definitely. Hey, me and Derek could become best friends now.
And can
totally.
can I piggyback off your use of that quote for a second, Mike? Because you brought that to us in the chat earlier in the day, and there was also some discussion about why are we sending him away? Is this not an acknowledgement of what he's done for the club? Guess what? No matter what anybody says, Poppy took us to the next level. He was a huge layer of bricks that this wall needed, just to use the metaphor. But at some point, you have to put bricks on top of that. And when he can't do it anymore, you need someone else to come along and build the wall even higher. It's just, we need someone to get us to that next level, and we're not sure if Oscar's that person. A lot of people think he should stay. A lot of people don't, and he can prove that at this point. Can he get the locker room back? Can he build on some of these small wins and actually do something about it? And if he can't, then we have to move on for the betterment of the club. It's not like we're not going to acknowledge what he's done for the club, but we need someone to take us to that next level. And if he's not it, we need to find somebody else and point at him and say, that's our guy.
Oh, we'll find out shortly. I mean, I only reason I'd be optimistic is because of the schedule. I can't say that enough. So, I mean, we've been through the gauntlet. So,
I mean, and I'll add one other point. And this is just because obviously I kept my thoughts on the coaching situation. That's never been publicly said if I'm in or out or whatever. I will go ahead and say this in regards to Poppy, and this is something that I know I have said in our group chats before, and I've said it. I've probably said it on Twitter, but I don't know if I've said it on here. I love Poppy as a coach. I think that he's a good man, but looking at his league history, I don't think he has what it takes to win the big one. I've said that before. And that's my worry when it comes to him. If you look at him in his previous roles, something happens or he changes tactics, he gets scared in the big moments, and I'm not sure that he can win the big one. I'd love for him to prove me wrong. US Open Cup, he has always had great success, but MLS Cup, he can't do it. And I think that's something that I until I'm proven otherwise, I've believed for a couple years now.
Yeah, Mike's a big fan of. You can call him the guy that gives up late goals to Germany. He might as well be Switzerland.
Darn right.
All right.
I keep it Switzerland.
Stock up and stock down.
I love the chocolate.
Is anybody not going to give their stock up to Facundo Torres?
Oh, I'm not.
Sheesh.
Oh man. Okay, I guess maybe I'm going to be giving mine to Facundo Torres if you guys have it for other people.
Yeah, I mean, 3 goals and 2 assists, or
3 goals and 1 assist.
I mean, yeah, and 2 matches. I mean, he's got to be the stock up for me.
You got to give it up to Mason, man. Mason.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
only
if it wasn't for Mason, we would have lost that game.
Well, and you guys can have Facundo. Facundo is an easy choice, but we had 2 players on Team of the Week, and Mason did make some history. 2nd most saves in a single match. Is that indicative of how bad the defense was? Yes, but he kept us in the match. He shook off the rust after his previous 2 performances where he didn't look that great, playing in support of Pedro being at Copa America, and he came in and had a great performance. Yeah, it was against a lesser team, but he did it and he kept us in it. Can he keep up the form? I sure as heck hope so, because we need a little competition at that position would go a long way. A lot of people were saying after one good performance from him, oh, is he going to really challenge for it? No. He had a good match. He got the Team of the Week. He got himself a little bit of Orlando City history, which he already had, because I didn't know this. I couldn't remember the actual goal, but apparently he's the only Orlando City goalkeeper with an assist. Does anybody remember what match that was?
Yeah, it was the Duncan Worldy where he chipped it over Michael Bradley in Toronto last year.
Okay. So he's got a little history with the club now, getting in those record books. If he can keep this up while Pedro's away, we can have a little bit of a contest at the end of the season. A little pressure never hurt anybody.
He's going to get 2 more matches. I'm not going to go on. I'm not going to go on at least 2 more matches while Pedro's gone for Copa. And I'm not going to sit here and say that if he doesn't show out in the next 2 matches, Pedro just doesn't even start until Mason makes a mistake. And especially if we get some results.
It's going to definitely take some results and maybe some shutouts, because at the end of the day, we are still paying Pedro $1 million a year. So I think it's hard to bench that. But you gave yours to Facu, you gave yours to Mason, you gave yours to Mason. I'm going to give mine to Dagger Dan, man. He realistically had 3 assists in this last game against Chicago. The one to Angulo doesn't count because it was a shot by Duncan that bounced off the keeper. But Dagger Dan made that happen. He assisted both goals to Facundo Torres. I just want to shout him out for having a great game on the offensive side of it. And I stock down, which is probably going to be echoed by the group. Schlegel, man. I need England to beat Slovenia by more than 3 goals, so that way Bracalo comes home after this next game.
Yeah, it looks like there's a chance that he's going to be gone at least a little bit longer.
We have to count on England for that. That's not good.
Well, I think there's still another team that could get ahead of them. I think it's Chechnya or Czechia. Sorry, I don't know how they pronounce it.
Ain't gonna happen. Turkey's gonna beat the heck out of them.
As long as they don't score on themselves again.
Yeah, but nah. Turkey's gonna beat Czech or whatever.
We'll see.
Czechia.
We'll see. I think we had some issues with Mike. I think Mike has
Oh, there he is. He's back. He's back.
Oh, he's back.
Yeah, I just stopped talking.
He's
My
back.
internet, everything went black, and you take it from here. Go ahead.
All right.
All right.
My stock down also for Schlegel. I mean, is it though? Is it really stock down? Because his stock hasn't gone up this season. So that's my only argument against Schlegel for stock down is How far can the stock be hammered down if it's already at the lowest it can go? But yeah, he's just hasn't been reliable for us, and he's a big reason that I think going back to JJ's point that we've allowed 4 goals in the last 2 matches, and even the game against Charlotte, I know Santos missed the ball, and I know Janssen looked old. Go back and watch that second goal, and you'll see the guy that scored the goal for Charlotte busting 110% from the midfield, and Schlegel busting about 25% from the midfield up until he realized that oh crap, this guy's going to score, and then he started to actually give it his all. But I think that goal, if Schlegel was not being lazy, if Schlegel was being a defender instead of being at the midfield walking back, maybe preventable. So it even goes to the little things. It's not just the big things that he's doing wrong. It goes to the little things that I'm not a big fan of seeing, especially like JJ said too, with him yelling at Nico like he's done anything, like Schlegel's done anything all year. Schlegel don't have the right to scream at anybody. I mean, that dude, I don't want to see him getting in anybody's face because he has been miserable ever since the match against Columbus last season in the playoffs.
Hey, Swag, be careful what you say because, these fans still love him for his goalkeeping skills.
Tough.
Just saying.
Ryder, who's your stock down? Anybody other than Schlegel?
I'm going to say Schlegel just because speaking of people that this was, I believe, his 160th appearance for the club. He's second all time behind Janssen, but
that was Kyle.
Oh, was that Kyle? Oh,
that was Kyle. Yeah.
Well, I was thinking about Kyle because Schlegel's performances have required that Kyle come in at some point for the last how many matches? And yeah, he's a utility guy, but he should not be coming in. His time has come and gone, and I think the same goes for Schlegel. I think that he has not improved. His stock is, I don't know. I was trying to think of a good company comparison, but I couldn't think of one. So his stock is down, and I think it's going to stay there unless he gets himself together, which is just kind of a theme for the whole season.
JJ in the same boat?
Nope. My stock down goes to it kind of is regarding Schlegel, but it goes down to Poppy. Dude, we have Thomas Williams. Give the boy a chance. I know he's young. What's the worst? We could lose. I mean, we've been losing. Give the boy a chance while Bricolo, and if just one game, give the boy a chance. He's gone to Sporting Lisbon. He's trained with those guys at Sporting Lisbon. You just give the boy a chance to see what he can do. He's gotten bigger. He's bulkier. What was the point of signing this guy? Just to keep him on B? So then we can probably loan him out to like somewhere else. Just give the boy a chance. Can't do any worse than Schlegel. So just give the boy a chance. That's my stock down, is basically Poppy for not giving Thomas Williams a chance yet. And I mean, this guy he's been there for the last 2 years already. I think he's ready to at least have a start.
Man, Cleon takes a month off and you go on to play the kids rant. He's going to come back so disappointed.
He's the only one. He's the only one that I want, that I've seen him play, and I know he started before. I just give the boy a chance. It can't be any worse than Schlegel. And I think Thomas Williams is way better than Schlegel.
But JJ, what about Jack Lynn?
Oh God.
What about Mikey Halliday? No.
Well, he's hurt, so
Jack Lynn could get a stock down for me for the Charlotte match because dude was terrible. Anyways, should we look ahead? Friday night, Yankee Stadium, under the lights.
Out to the ball game.
Oh dang! I put up the wrong thing. There we go. Switch it up.
It's the first Friday night match of the year, I think.
Viernes de Futbol.
Against the team that we came into the league with, against New York City FC, who's been on a tear. They've been playing pretty well, especially. I mean, they are every year. It doesn't matter how bad or good they are. They are just always tough to beat on that pocket-sized pitch that they have with the baseball mound right off of it. They are always hard to beat on the road, and we'll be there on Friday night. Let's talk about the match. We'll talk about some predictions. As far as the standings are concerned, what are they? I think they're like in that sixth spot. Yeah, they're in that sixth spot. I mean, there's a clear line between. I said this on Den After Dark, with 6 and up, and really 5 and up, and then everybody else. So they've been playing well. I mean, they've got 9 wins. They also have 8 losses. They're beatable. But I think it's going to, like it always does in New York, it's going to come down to scoring goals and putting at least a few up to have a chance and snowball's chance to beat them. Anybody think we're going to win? JJ?
Why me? The first one. No, we're not going to win. We're going to lose 2-0. The Metropolitans are going to beat us. What do you, I mean?
The
this is in baseball. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's the Yankees this time.
Oh, we're playing the Yankees? We're in the Bronx? We're not up in Queens?
No,
okay.
It's in the Bronx.
It's in the Bronx.
Sure.
Okay, the Yankees are going to beat us 2-0. And there's no way. I mean, it's a smaller field. It's a baseball field. Those guys, I mean, they have the home field advantage. This game is going to get a lot of people. The one that we just won against Chicago, everybody's going to be, we're going to win everything. We're going to be champions now. We're champions after one win. No, let's. This is going to bring everybody back to reality. And we'll probably end up losing maybe 3-0, 2 or 3-0 up in the Bronx. That's my prediction.
Jeez, JJ not holding back. I'm gonna say, I'm gonna say 2-0 just because Schlegel's in on the small pitch. I think we'll lose too.
You had my high hopes, thinking that you were going to say they were going to win.
I'd love to see it, but like I said, man, I'm not buying anything about the Chicago match. You know, it was like Mason saved us. He made team of the week, and he gave up 2 goals. That should tell you right off the bat. He had an amazing performance. Could have easily lost, and that's not just because he expected goals save. So I'm going to say we lose 2-1, 2-0, 2-1. So we'll see. Ryder, any optimism?
Slightly. I think it's going to be a draw. I don't think we have a snowball's chance in hell of winning this match for the sole reason that, they've been on a tear, but they're also coming off a 3-match losing streak. Yeah, that was a lot of matches in a short amount of time. They were playing Friday, Wednesday, Saturday, so this is the longest rest they've had in a couple weeks, but those were also matches against Columbus, LA, and Nashville, all teams that are much better than us. But I'm going to be optimistic and say that the summer of Facundo has just begun and that he's going to get the team going with a goal and an assist. I'm going to think that Duncan's going to get that second goal, and somehow we will only hold them to 2. We'll see. But
so you're saying 2-2?
2-2.
Interesting. Mike?
I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I honestly, when it comes to, it's not even their performance, it's the stupid field that they play in. It's the fact that the league, congratulations for the fact that you guys finally broke ground on a stadium that will have an actual sized field in it at some point. But the league let them get by with this for far too long. I feel like that field has been an unfair advantage for them as far as home field goes for years. And their home record really kind of speaks to it because they've always had one of the best home records in the league. I haven't looked to see what their home record is this year, but my point still stands if you look at over the previous years. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw just because I'm not still confident enough that we can pick up a win. But I think we're still good enough for a point on the road in this one because they've been struggling lately. Go ahead and give the goal to Duncan because why not? He seems to like scoring still.
I just can't see only one goal allowed with our defense on that tiny pitch, and then I can't see us scoring more than 2 goals. So in that case, I think the best case scenario is a draw, which wouldn't be horrible as long as we're not up a man for 65 minutes.
So, I mean, the reason for that is if you look at, I'm going to go ahead and look at last year, Janssen and Schlegel were able to work well for a while. Sure, it might be broken right now, but a broken clock is still right twice a day. So maybe this will be the one where they get it figured out.
And Mike, to fill in I did pull those stats up real quick. They have played 10 matches at home. They have 6 wins, 1 draw, and 3 losses, 19 goals for, 12 against.
Yeah, so still a great home record.
They have 19 points just at home. We have 21.
Total.
Tight.
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 Yeah. We'll see. I mean, I'm obviously hopeful, but I would just be ecstatic with the draw. It's our toughest game up until we play them again. And right before the Leagues Cup. So a draw would be a nice.
We're bookending this 6-match run with them.
A win, and I think my foot's starting to come off the brakes a little bit. I think if we get a win, I think especially with the schedule coming up, we just got to be able to compound it. So we can hope. We'll see. Of course, it'll be on the Den After Dark Friday night. We'll know by then.
And then we can actually watch what happens in the league on Saturday if we want to. Like, we could watch MLS 360, see what that's all about.
Yeah, I don't even know what that is because we never get to even turn into it because they've decided to play all the games at one time. Gotta love it.
Dude, it's still killing me. I don't know. How did they take no feedback from last year? Because that was what everyone's complaint was.
Maybe it'll change eventually, but
maybe.
I mean, hey, we're watching MLS right now while the Copa America and Euros are on, so I'm sure they're just getting a ton of fans.
This is true.
I'm sure they're having an awesome time competing with Uruguay and Brazil and the U.S. soccer team and all these teams from Mexico and everybody playing while the MLS is going. So I'm sure they're nailing that. Anyways, shout-outs. Anybody got any shout-outs? Anybody want to go first? JJ, you're shaking your head?
I got one.
Mike's going first?
Yeah, JJ's gone first all the time tonight, so I'm going first.
Don't worry, I wouldn't take yours.
That's okay. I'm going to go ahead and give a shout-out to Abdi Salim. Orlando City B is on loan. He's just been sent out on loan, confirmed actually today to Detroit City, and he in USL Championship, and he played in their friendly against Pumas from Mexico, which they won 1-0, and he scored the lone goal. So wishing luck to Abdi Salim with Detroit City for the rest of the season. That does open up a roster spot for us. I don't know. Not anticipating us doing anything crazy with it, but something to keep note of. It is an open roster spot for Orlando City with him on the move. But wish him luck over there. I hope he does well in the USL Championship, and I'd like to see us do something with his roster spot.
Ryder?
I don't really have much. I could talk about US soccer, but I'm tired of talking about mediocre soccer.
Triple G? No?
2-0 against Bolivia was nothing. It should have been more. Anyway, no, speaking of teams kind of blowing it, I'm going to give a little shout out to the Florida Panthers, who are doing their very best to give hope to Canadian hockey fans. They are currently tied 1-1 in Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Finals, and if they lose, they're never going to hear the end of it.
Burn sunrise down.
I didn't like that arena when I went there. I went there to see Mike.
That was a horrible arena.
And
it's out in the middle of nowhere.
It is
it's
in
like
the middle of nowhere.
A high school type, I don't know, an old high school type arena, I guess. I don't know.
They
It's
also
the
were
closest.
charging. I think they were also charging $45 for parking when I went there.
Ugh.
So
Oh my gosh.
they
So you
offered
could
if
park
I
in the
wanted
swamp.
VIP parking for $50. I was like, yeah, for $5 more, put me right next to the damn door.
I'd never been there before, and I went twice in 1 week. It's the closest sporting venue to my house, 90 minutes away. Just
Really?
yep.
Even
right at
Hertz isn't.
Well,
I mean, Hertz isn't a really big
top
arena. Never mind.
league, top.
Yeah.
I could say, oh, Hertz is there. All the billions of minor league baseball stadiums that are used for spring training. I'm talking, big arena.
Gotcha. All right, my shout out goes to the future Ballon d'Or, or whatever the heck, Ballon d'Or winner, Lionel Messi. Ballon d'Or winner, Lionel Messi. I want to say, Lionel, it was nice to have Infantino, the FIFA president, at the game for your game in Texas, for your opening game against Canada, because that bastard couldn't even get to a game yet in Europe. He has not even showed up to Europe yet, but he was at your game against Canada. Come on, Infantino.
He was there to see Jesse Marsh. Come on.
Oh, come on. Can he be more corrupt? Can FIFA be more corrupt? Goodness. Out of all the games, you end up at Argentina, Canada, the opener, and not even the Copa, or not even the Euro 2024 in Germany. Wow. Well, that tells you who the Ballon d'Or is going to be, the FIFA Player of the Year. That's going to be Lionel Messi. He's kissing his butt. So congratulations, Messi, on your FIFA Player of the Year, because it's already written down and they already got the trophy for you. They're waiting for you.
They can already start setting up the reception at the stadium again for Miami.
Might as well bring in Pitbull, Daddy Yankee, Shakira, whoever. Bring in all of them. They'll be ready for him.
My shout out is what?
Go Portugal. Go Portugal. I'm sorry. I had to give Portugal. They've already won their group and they still have a game left.
My shout out is a good one. It's just to soccer around the world right now. How can you not enjoy this? You wake up, you watch the Euros, you go to sleep, you watch the Copa America. My wife was like, "How much longer is this tournament on for?" And I said, "All month."
And then you got a reminder about the Olympics too.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, Olympics coming up. Yeah, it's a hot boy summer. This summer.
What was it? 81 days straight of soccer matches, something like that.
I don't know. Glorious is what it is. That's how you spell
glorious.
It's the
best thing ever.
I mean, we're getting some late night or late match, result driven goals, whether it's for a tie or for a win. The Euros have been fantastic. The Italy goal today was amazing. The Switzerland goal was awesome. And we've had some good goal scoring affairs in the Copa America so far. So other than the Mexico Jamaica match, that was miserable to watch.
You go from a round of 16 matchup from Portugal versus Italy to now Portugal versus Hungary. If they didn't score that goal, it would have been Portugal versus Italy in the round of 16. Instead, Italy scored the goal. Now Portugal's going to play Hungary.
JJ's excited about that.
I'm very excited. I didn't want to face Italy.
I just wish CNN had acknowledged the summer of soccer and not scheduled the first presidential debate the same night as USA Panama. Come on now.
I can tell you right now.
Talking. Who cares?
I ain't watching it. I'll watch USA Panama way before I watch that.
I want to
see the TV numbers.
U12s before that.
So. Two idiots talking. Whoop-de-doo. Put them out in the zoo where they both belong.
There we go.
Off the rails.
Now the show is definitely off the rails. I love it.
Yeah, I'm with JJ on that one. Yeah,
I am too.
If I'm gonna cringe, it's because the USA is gonna lose to Panama. I'm not gonna cringe because I'm watching that for an hour and a half. So
absolutely,
I'd much rather
cringe at Greg Berhalter.
I'd much rather be sad about the U.S. men's national team than the U.S. Personally.
watching one just say something about, he'd rather grab her pussy or whatever. Oops, sorry.
No, son of a gun, JJ. Now I gotta put the explicit warning on this episode.
And then the other one going, yeah. And then smiling. It'll be awesome.
Is it over yet?
We had to bleep that one out.
One says witch hunt, one says ice cream. It's where it's going.
Shout out to Mike having to do a little extra editing.
Sorry about that, Mike.
I'm not doing it. That's just going up like that.
All right.
Just put cat at the end of it.
As much as we pay for the StreamYard, there's not like a place just to add a beep.
Nope.
Nope. All righty, y'all. Well, we appreciate you guys. Sorry for the language for JJ, but
yeah, sorry.
But yeah,
didn't mean to.
Yeah, the old cat, but whatever.
Yeah.
Oh well. Anyways, we appreciate y'all for listening. We'll be on Friday night, the Den After Dark. Then we'll upload it to the pod feed if you can't listen on the Twitter Spaces. If you refuse to support Elon Musk and X, we'll have it on the podcast feed. And we appreciate you guys always for listening. We're hoping for a result. We're not expecting much, but that's where we were last year for a lot of the season, and then we turned it all around. We got some matches coming that may give that chance to happen. So thank you guys all for listening. We appreciate y'all. Anybody else got anything else to add?
Vamos Orlando.
Vamos.
JJ topped it off. Vamos Orlando, y'all. See y'all on Friday night.
Thanks for joining us this week on the Orlando Lions Den podcast. Don't forget to follow us at Orlando Lions Den on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. See you next week in the Den.